and welcome to this new video. Today we are going to unbox something very exciting. In here we have the new Denon Envaya. Maybe you remember they came up with 3 new versions. So first of all there's the Envaya Pocket, the normal Envaya, which is just the normal one, and also the bigger one, which is something, I don't know, like the Envaya XL, although it's actually not that much bigger than the other ones, but should also sound much better. You can only differentiate between those 3 when you look at the internal names. So I think that the biggest one is called DSB250 and the other ones I think DSB200 and DSB150, but I'm not quite sure. And this will be the only Envaya which I will check out for now, although I announced to check out all 3 of them. But that's just because the other ones do not seem to sound very great. So the Envaya Pocket sounds really bad according to some other people and is really overpriced for $99. The medium-sized one was already reviewed by Clavinet Junkie, so you can check out his review for this, and also wasn't that special because it was definitely lacking some of the bass. And now there's the biggest one, so let's just call it the Envaya XL, and it should sound very great, although all of them have the nearly identical drivers. So I'm really interested in how this one performs, and according to some others it should be on one level with the JBL Charge 3, so this is going to be very exciting. But now let's open this up here. It has just arrived and I'm of course very excited to check it out, as the older Denon Envaya still is a very nice speaker, although not as loud and as powerful as some other speakers nowadays. So they definitely needed to upgrade their speakers, and now they finally did. Oh, let's just do it like this. And now we can already open it up. And I'm of course very, again, excited to see how it sounds, because the smaller ones aren't that great according to some others, like I already mentioned, and this should be the only really good one. And as you can see, the packaging actually is quite big. In real life I expected it to be much bigger, but then someone sent me a photo of it and it's about the size of a Charge 3 maybe, so I expected it to be as big as a Sony XP40, but it really doesn't look like it. But still, it's just about the sound. Let's maybe, I don't know, get a little start here. Let's just cut in here. Then we can unwrap the foil. And just like with the old version, the packaging looks very nice. So it's really high quality. Oh yeah, there's another seal. So it's also a brand new one. I think it just came out yesterday and you could order it since yesterday, and I instantly did it because I'm so interested in it. And now we have this other kind of packaging, which is this nice kind of denim color, and it's, I don't know, packaged like an iPhone or something. And on top you already have the speaker, and I already noticed it has a very heavy smell to it. It doesn't smell cheap or something, but it just smells a bit like plastic, which is okay. In my opinion it even smells good, but that's not for all people. So you just get some manuals and also a micro USB charging cable. Sadly no micro or USB Type-C, which would be much nicer, but still it's okay. And let's put this away. Again, very nice packaging, and let's unwrap the speaker here. Well, it wasn't that elegant. And let's take it out here. So it doesn't feel that heavy, but it's also not cheap made or something. So it's definitely a premium product. I mean, it's $200 or 200 euros, so I expect it to feel very nice. It's quite cold. I don't think that it's made from metal. I think it's just rubber, but it feels like metal right now because in Berlin it's about 0 degrees outside, which is very cold. And that's already it. So nothing more to say about it. Maybe we can do some size comparing against the older version. So let me quickly bring this up here. And as you can see, the older version is much slimmer and much, smaller overall. So they are about the same width, just that the newer version is about, 2 times the thickness almost. So probably 1.5 times or even 2 times bigger. So when you look like this, you can see it's also a bit deeper. I don't know if you can say it like this. And I think that it features the same drivers, so 2 full range drivers. supported by 2 passive radiators at the front and at the back. And again, it should sound really nice, almost on one level with the JBL Charge 3. And of course, I'm very excited for it because Denon really did great with their Envaya Mini, which still sounds very nice nowadays. And now they maybe even improved it and it sounds really great. And maybe it's one of the best for this kind of money and in this kind of size class. But now I will stop talking about the unboxing and the looks, and I will just get into the sound right away. So please put out your headphones, as this is a normal microphone recording and I require headphones to sound good, and enjoy the sound check. So now let's take a listen to it. And of course I'm not gonna do the sound check with this camera. Of course I'm going to be wearing my head cam, but the head cam only recorded the parts with the sound, and the beginning of my sound check, the, camera just didn't record, I don't know why. So now I will do it like this. So again, I already took a sneak peek into the Denon sound, and I can already tell you that it's definitely one of the winners in 2017. It's a great speaker. It will be the replacement to many of your speakers, as it does great in any regard for any kind of music at any volume. So it's really a great speaker. Even in the ending of 2017, it still sounds great and can really compete with all of the others and even beat them. For example, the JBL Charge, but we will take a listen in a second. And of course, after all of those letdowns, it's of course also really exciting to have a speaker which is great in any regard. So for example, the B&O M3 wasn't that great. The JBL Boombox, also very anticipated. I don't know, some hated it, some like it, for example me, but overall the, resonance from the buyers weren't that great. So many wished a more hi-fi sound at the indoor mode. Including me. I thought for the outer mode a big bass boost would be good. But for indoors, I would have, liked a hi-fi tuning, something uncommon for JBL. But again, it would have been really nice, but we didn't get this. And even one of the most anticipated speakers in 2017, which is the FIFA Reykjavik, doesn't seem to be the by far best one right now. There's one YouTuber, he's quite small still, he has about, 30 subscribers, but he ordered the FIFA Reykjavik on release date and he got one now already. He also did a small introduction video where he compared it against the Bose Revolve. And it sounded a bit like a kitchen radio or normal volumes. It was just missing the bass kick, the excitement and the punch in the sound. So I'm already seeing it on the horizon. The Denon might be the best speaker of 2017, but I won't make any judgments yet. So maybe the FIFA also is a super awesome speaker. You can check out his video here. I hope I won't forget to put it in. If not, I will just send a link into the comments. But now let's turn on those two here. As you can see, I prepared the JBL Charge 3. This is quite a famous speaker. It's, loved by many people. Great, Face ID doesn't recognize me. Okay, Face ID is not working. Great, right? With a fingerprint scanner, it would have worked. Anyways, I will just right away get into the sound. I will be playing both at about, it's 50% volume. And I will start a bit under 50% volume, and after that we will crank them up and also check them out on lower volumes. Your face, its warm embrace. Seek love before your eyes. You can hear this thing sounds so good. Here the JBL sounded boxy, it sounded unrefined, it was missing detail, while the Denon sounded like a small hi-fi speaker. It sounds like a mini FIFA Helsinki or something. It's very awesome sounding. Let me check out another track maybe. I use it quite often, and this really also again shows the advantages of the new Denon here. It really sounds nice. I know I sound like a fanboy, but actually I don't like the smaller models, so you cannot call me a fanboy. And usually people call me a JBL fanboy, and now I'm saying that the JBL sounds, a bit like a kitchen radio compared to the new Denon. Let's crank them up one notch. You can hear more powerful bass, way nicer mids.
Take it to the motorway, speed racer. I'll take you there, show your friends.
So although the JBL still has nice bass, there's a lot of intermodulation going on, and also it doesn't sound very refined compared to the Denon, and that's just super amazing because I usually prefer the JBL when it comes to bass over any other speaker, but here the Denon definitely wins. Sounds way more elegant. Let me check out one more track. It's quite a funky track, so I hope you like it. I use it quite often again, but it really has some nice bass kicks in them, so you can really compare them. So you could also hear with this track that Denon seems to have some kind of stereo, I don't know, imaging going on, or some processing. With the track you could hear some bum, 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 and this is where the Denon really had some nice stereo separation. I don't know which part it was, you can maybe, I don't know, listen to it again, while the JBL really sounds like it's one small speaker, and the Denon really sounds nicely, I don't know, hi-fi like. But now, speaking of hi-fi, let's try a really acoustic track. I really like this track for speaker testing, and it will show the differences between those two speakers even more. One critique point with the Denon might be that it's quite directional. So you can see it sounds very directional and very great like this. And like this it already loses the treble. So yeah, but it's not too bad. Totally missing the treble. There's way less detail in this speaker here.
When the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in.
This sounds like a small, I don't know, hi-fi speaker.
Oh Lord, I wanna be in that number. When the saints go marching in, yeah. I went St. John of the Cross.
So I think this made quite obvious that the JBL has close to no chance when it comes to acoustic music. The Denon sound like a small hi-fi speaker, while the JBL, I don't know, sounded very, I don't know, distorted, not distorted in the, I don't know, meaning of distorted bass or something, but the overall sound image just wasn't quite right compared to the Denon. But now, some of you might ask, oh, the JBL probably is the much better speaker for high volumes. So now I will show you that it isn't. And I will play the track from before again, but just at about 80% volume, or I don't know, 70, and then you will hear that the Denon, I don't know, doesn't lose that much bass. The older version did, the Denon Envaya Mini, but now it really keeps some nice amount of bass kick.
Sunshine light your face, you'll commit its warm embrace. See the love before your eyes, so mirrors for the skies. Try to hide, set all your dreams aside.
So yeah, maybe the JBL was, I don't know, 10% or 20% better here, but that's just because it really has a sound tuning which is made for bass. It also has drivers in there which are, I don't know, look like small bass drivers. So it's definitely no speaker which is made for acoustic music, although it can really nicely perform with modern music, but still I would much prefer the Denon here. Again, on higher volumes, the JBL maybe kept a little bit more bass, but on the other hand, you also don't get any good treble resolution. Keep in mind that the Denon has great treble, great mids, and still keeps a fair amount of deep bass kick. So in my opinion, the Denon wins here as well, just because it still has the clearer and better sound overall. Next, let's try out the older generation, the Denon Envaya Mini. I'm not quite sure if you can see everything, because I don't know what my headcam is recording, but I hope that's fine. And let's connect to it, because I didn't connect to it with my new phone yet. Now we are in pairing mode and we should be able to connect. Yes, now we have it here in Envaya Mini and we can get into the sound check right away. Maybe again, let's try out the jazz track here, because both of them are known for a really nice hi-fi sound. Also put them a bit closer to me again and let's see. Let me quickly grab my cables here.
When the saints go marching in, when St. John comes marching in, St. John of the Cross comes marching in.
You can hear this really has no chance. I'm already at about 80% volume, and it just cannot do anything more. Let's maybe crank it up one more notch.
And St. Augustine comes marching.
Just listen to this. This speaker sounds so incredibly awesome. I'm so happy about it, because there are so many bad speakers out there and people think it's good and then they make reviews and say it's great, but with this speaker, it's seriously an uncompromised great speaker. Even the older Denon, which used to be a very great speaker, just cannot keep up with it. I mean, the mids were still nice, but it was totally missing the power, of course also because it's much smaller and of course also 3 years older. But still, you could hear how much improvement there is over the older generation. It sounded so nice with this track. Seriously like a small hi-fi speaker. Oh yeah, let's not turn it off yet, because we can try one more modern track again. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we should try out this one. It has some nice D-bass in it, and we should hear some good differences again. And yeah, as you can hear again, the Denon Envaya Mini sounds a bit lost here. I mean, of course the competition is unfair, but I just wanted to do it for fun, just so you can see how much better the newer version of the Denon Envaya Mini is. You could hear the bass was already totally reducted. There was almost no deep bass anymore. Again, mid sounded nice and the compression wasn't too strong, as, I don't know, some speakers like the Bose SoundLink Mini, they just sound horrible at those volume levels. But the Denon Envaya, the normal one, the DSB250, really outperforms anything. I even brought up the Orca Eclipse, but this, of course, yeah, will not be able to keep up, so I can already, cancel this comparison because it's just useless. The Denon will outperform it. The only thing that could really compete right now might be the FIFA Reykjavik. So it's the only speaker which is, about the same price, about the same size, and maybe can keep up sound-wise. But otherwise, there isn't anything which could, beat the Denon Envaya DSB250 at the moment. So let's just turn off the older Envaya Mini, put it aside and I don't know, do some finishing talks on the normal Denon Envaya DSB250, I will just call it like this. Yeah, it's a really great speaker. I don't have any speaker to compare it to right now, so maybe the FIFA Reykjavik again, but even the JBL Pulse 3, it won't sound as hi-fi. Maybe it will be louder or something. We will also check out the loudness in another sound comparison, maybe a specified one against the JBL Charge 3, because this seems the only speaker right now at the moment which can even come close to the Denon, but still it's not quite there yet. I mean, the Denon sounds more hi-fi. On higher volumes it sounds more relaxed. On lower volumes it has a bass boost, so maybe I can show you this again. The JBLs are about the same price as the Denons, so the JBL used to go for about $180. And it doesn't have a, I don't know, loudness built in, you call it like this, so bass isn't boosted for low volumes, so this makes it really tinny sounding. Let's maybe check out this track. And let's, I don't know, turn them down a bit, and then you will hear that the Denon has a bass boost. Very, very nice sound, great stereo separation, a lot of bass. This just sounds tinny and, I don't know, lifeless. So this speaker seriously gets a big buying recommendation from me. It sounds great in any regard. On max volume, I didn't try it out yet, but it should be comparable to the JBL Charge 3 when it comes to loudness at about 80% volume, so very, I don't know, loud listening for a single person. It still keeps a nice amount of low bass and sounds punchy, doesn't compress or anything. Or of course it compresses, but not like any other, I don't know, crap speakers like the UE Mega Trash or the UE Trash. They all sound really bad, and the Denon really sounds great. It will outperform those speakers. It also sounds great on low volumes, so it has a bass boost. On normal volumes, it sounds like a hi-fi speaker, so there's really nothing you could criticize the speaker for. I think it's even waterproof, the battery life is improved, so there isn't anything which you could criticize. Maybe that it doesn't look as fancy as some other speakers, like the Pulse with the lights or the, I don't know, Bose made out of metal or something, but it's just a very, I don't know, mature and very serious sounding speaker, and it replaces many of my speakers in my collection at the same time. For example, the JBL for the punchy bass sound also on high volumes. The Denon can do this just as well. Probably the, I don't know, FIFA Reykjavik soon, because the Denon has hi-fi sound just like the FIFA has. And in my opinion, probably more punch, but we will see in some days. And it also replaces my Sony HG1, which is over there, which I use for low volume listening, just because it has a very nice bass boost, but the Sony sounds a bit, I don't know, hollow, not hollow, but it sounds a bit dull at lower volumes sometimes, because it doesn't boost the treble and only the bass, and sometimes it also pushes the bass too far, so that it even distorts on low volumes, and that's just, again, a software issue by Sony, which they never fixed. They pushed the bass too far on low volumes, it was too much for the drivers to handle, so with, I don't know, certain tracks, the Sony even distorts on low volumes, and the Denon doesn't do any of this, but still sounds better on high volumes and on normal volumes than the Sony, and it's just awesome. It wraps up everything you want from separate speakers. It sounds as powerful as the JBL, it sounds as good or even better than the Sony on low volumes, and on high volumes, again, it's as good as the JBL, and it even has hi-fi sound, just like you would get from a small FIFA product or something. So definitely big thumbs up to Denon for making the speaker. It's, I think, one of the winners in 2017. It will probably, for sure, be also featured in my, I don't know, favorite speakers or best Bluetooth speakers of 2017 video, because it just ticks every box you could ever want in a speaker. If you have many speakers, maybe a JBL Charge 3 and then maybe a Sony XB20 for low volumes, just sell all of them, get the Denon, and you'll be satisfied. Of course, still, don't fully trust my opinion. Many people get a bit, I don't know, unconscious with my own opinions because they think they shouldn't trust it. You can trust me, because I can tell you this speaker is great, but maybe again, listen to the video, take a re-listen or something, and really make up your own opinion about the speaker, because it's still, I don't know, your subjective opinion. So maybe you say, oh, I like the JBL so much more because I like no treble in the speaker. And then you can, of course, still get the charge. It's still a good speaker, so you shouldn't fully trust my opinion all the time, because maybe you have a different opinion. But still, I can tell you that, I don't know, 99% of the people who are watching this video, except fanboys, will definitely agree with my opinion about the Denon. It's just a great sounding speaker. You could hear it with my microphone recordings. If you don't agree, it's very rare, but it's still okay because it's your opinion. But I think that most of the people who are watching this and listening to my recordings will understand that this Denon speaker is just very, very awesome. So if you have the money, definitely get one. It's 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 points for me. I'm very impressed, as you can hear, because there are many, I don't know, letdowns this year. For example, the B&O M3, maybe even the JBL Boombox, although I quite like it. It just doesn't sound very hi-fi, especially in the indoor mode. I would have expected more hi-fi sound. But still, it's okay. But the Denon really is a speaker which wowed me from the first second I heard it. So enough of this, maybe we should already call it fanboying now. I will end the video here because it already gets a bit too long. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like or subscribe to the channel if you want to see many more comparisons with the Denon. Until then, have a great time and bye bye.